Good morning, this is Joe at Pecan Lane, and today is Saturday, October 25th, and wanted to just show a bit of our operation as it runs. So up here I've got my inspection table. This table allows things to drop through, dirt and maybe small stones. And I kind of go through here and look for things, foreign material, or anything that ought not go through the cracker. And I can adjust my table up and down. Had this built to the height of the cracker. These are customer nuts. It's an average nut for North Carolina. It closely resembles Stewart. There's no real way of telling. I did weigh a 5-gallon bucket of these nuts coming in. They did weigh 21 pounds. And here we've got various settings that we set for the nuts. These are all mostly average. And I'm going to turn this on and we'll see what happens here as this goes through the cracker. All right, so air pressure goes through the nuts, and it's just a gentle crack on them to not abuse the nuts. Let me turn off this air pressure here. All right, once they are cracked, this is my shelling unit, and we put them in up here, so these are the same nuts just as they come out of the cracker. I'll turn this on in a moment so everyone can see that this is a vibrating table, and using, I think this is called a rheostat, I can increase the flow of nuts or decrease the flow of nuts. One of these is controlling a spinning wheel in here, which has projections, and I adjust how close or far away a baffle is inside there to give me a crack of choice. What I find is that most of the time if I run it on the, so let's call that 0, 1, and 2. Most of the time if I run it on 2, I get a great crack, and I can tighten things up to 1 on average nuts that can handle the abuse and get things cleaned a little bit. So we'll turn this on and we'll watch the separation that happens. Also, there is an adjustable fan down here that I can open or close for how much lightweight material blows out. So that noise there is just a fan cage for all the dust that comes up, and hopefully it gets more of this out in the building than in my lungs. So right now, the vibrating table, we're going to turn that on. They're getting beat in there. All right, so some of those aren't all that great because I just turned the machine off while they were running, but that's a first crack. The reason I do it in 2 stages most of the time is that the first crack lets me learn the nuts a little bit better, see how much they might be chipping. That, you know, ideally we don't chip things up too much, and you know, I'll see something like this in, and I'll worry for the customer about that nut. But the truth is, this is a pretty low quality nut. We see, I always call it fuzz adhering to the nut. That nut's going to taste bitter. And if we crack that in half, we see, you know, there's some some pockets in there. It's not well filled out. It's just not a good nut, and it's lightweight and blown out. So in many ways, we're probably doing the customer a favor. So oftentimes when I do these videos, I'll show a 1, and that's showing that it's gone through the sheller once. And then other times I'll do a 2 to indicate it's being shelled out a second time. And so I'm going to show you some of the customer nuts that I've just finished up doing. So this is after a second shelling on nuts that had, good weight with them. So, very, very clean nuts, minimal hand work, lots and lots of halves. The nuts aren't beat up too much, and really looking good. Here's a different batch of nuts. So these here were only cracked and shelled once. I know this is someone that likes to pick through and enjoys the work. So I just ran through these nuts once. All right, so that's our cracking and shelling and how we do things, and where some of my art and science comes in. And I hope you find this helpful. And thank you for using Pecan Lane, your partner in quality pecans.